You've got an idea for an app, but you're stuck asking the question, what do I do next? I know what I want to build, kind of, but what do I need to do? Do I need to start designing it and drawing it out on napkins? Or do I need to speak to a software development team and ask them to build it? What do I do? Do I need to go to investors? This is the thoughts you might be having if you have an idea for a piece of software you want to build. You just don't know what the first next step is. What we would always recommend to our clients, and we are speaking to tens of people every week. We've launched tens of different software projects over the last few years. My background, my business partner's background, our entire team, we've all built companies, we've sold companies, we have built all different types of software products. We've helped and had clients raise millions of dollars in investment. We have a pretty good idea of what we're doing. What we always recommend, no matter what your idea is, the very first thing to do is to clarify the problem you're looking to solve. And problem doesn't mean specifically, like there's this big pain point, we need to do whatever. Whatever your idea is, you need to understand what actually is it, why would people want to use it, and that's the quote unquote problem you're looking to solve, and how do you want to solve it specifically. And that's going to be the first step in you really understanding how do you want to do this and really clarifying what that problem is. Now, the second thing you want to try and do, if you can, is get some level of validation on the idea and testing it without requiring any code. Now, we're a software development studio, so a lot of people expect us to say, you need to go build software straight away, and that's actually not true. What you need to be starting with, you need to understand what is it that I can do to get some good, strong indication that this is going to be an idea that should work. And so what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, for example, let's just say you are a specialty company, or you want to start a specialty company, say a website that helps people sell, let's say, luxury cheeses, because this is a real example. And for the person that I'm somewhat making this video for, hello. But let's say you're looking to sell luxury high-end cheeses to cheese enthusiasts. How would you want to start that idea? Well, let's assume you have a bit of a background in that industry. Probably the best thing to do to start is go and talk to a few different, for example, cheese shops or cheese enthusiasts, and understand, for example, for a cheese shop, how do they, what's the pain points? Do they, for example, struggle with finding customers online or discoverability? Why can they not just use like a normal, for example, why can they not put their products on Amazon, right? There's probably a reason. Okay, so for example, food products on Amazon don't work, makes sense. Why can they not, for example, go and make this like a Shopify store? What is it that prevents them from doing that? Is it, for example, that it's hard for them to go and drive traffic to some kind of e-commerce site? Is it, for example, that Shopify doesn't accommodate specifics to do with cheeses, right? Maybe, for example, if you're selling luxury cheeses, there's expiration, right? Maybe there's some other kind of difficulties that are very industry specific that's useful for you to know about if you're going to solve this very specific problem. And you're only going to find that out from talking to them. Same as, for example, if you're trying to find people who are looking to buy very high-end or nice cheeses, a cheese enthusiast. What do they want? For example, perhaps they want like a wine pairing or a cracker pairing or whatever else. And so understanding this information from talking to real people who are potentially users and potential advocates of your platform is going to be hugely, hugely beneficial. And the next thing to do is really sit down and start defining out what is your MVP. So from the big idea you have and all the different things it can do, or from your big long list of what it could do, what are going to be the things that are the most important for your MVP, your minimum viable product? Now, to define an MVP or to understand what it is, what that actually means is not just a smaller version of the end product you want to have, but it's the smallest thing, self-contained, someone is willing to pay for, hence viable product. And it should be done very intentionally to help you maximize the amount of learning you're doing from or getting from your MVP. Because at the very beginning, it's not just about getting people to pay for it. It's very important and a hard thing to do. But the most important thing actually, if you have any kind of long-term intention for your business, is you want to be learning as much as you can, as quickly as you can. And that is the most important, valuable currency at the beginning, especially if, for example, you want to go and get investment. You want to get investment, you need to not only be able to demonstrate we have users who are willing to pay for the platform, very important. You also need to be, probably equally as important in my opinion, be able to go and say, we've got this traction so far, with your capital, we're going to be able to not only continue what we're doing, but we're going to be able to go and apply these learnings we've already generated to make these changes to our product. It's going to make it even better. So our growth that we've done so far at the beginning, which is probably going to be slow, is going to get faster and faster and faster. So we're not just deploying your capital to do more of the same, but we're going to get better and better as we go, faster and faster and faster. And that's both the goal of the MVP and the best way to start your business. But the most important thing to understand is you want to truly and deeply understand what it is you need to do, to talk to real people to help you refine that, and then start scoping out your MVP. Now, we help people do this. We have a package exactly for MVP scoping. If you're interested, all the links are in the video below or the description below. Thanks.